All right, today I'm looking at a question on Reddit, a question that is close to my own heart because I was in a similar situation at one point. And so the question from this user on Reddit is like, how does he switch to a software development role without a formal career, without a formal degree? So his background was like he studied, I think, med vet or something, vet science, and then he's thinking of switching to software development, maybe because he has an interest in it. And he's asking questions like which I went through myself, which was like, do you need a computer science degree? Do you need to go back to university and so on? Um, and so I have some thoughts on this, mainly because I went through this. My background was not in computer science, and yet currently I work in engineering at DoorDash. Um, so for me, I think there's three things to keep in mind here. Um, One is that employers care about understanding, not degrees. And so the good news is that there's an insane demand for software roles. And thankfully, most employers will happily overlook your background if you can demonstrate that you can do the job. And this means that it takes very little difference if you gain this ability from self-study, like you're just reading online, an online program, a short course, side projects, you fiddling around with things. It really doesn't matter as long as you can demonstrate the required understanding of whatever the hiring manager is looking for. So they might be looking for front-end skills, they might be looking for SQL skills, back-end languages, and so on. So unless you can demonstrate that you can do that, it doesn't really matter that you did or did not go to university. So at this stage, I would, probably not go back to university for this particular user. I think the challenge with this, or your biggest hurdle, is really how to sufficiently express this ability on a resume before you get rejected for the interview stage. And some way to do this is to basically explain any online courses or side projects you did with extra detail. So, for example, don't just list that you know how to work with Python. Talk about what you built with Python, what frameworks we used. Did you demonstrate this, or did you get any users with whatever you built? I think it's a very similar challenge for new grads. So I'm going to add a link to a similar question for new or recent grads, how to explain what they've done in their resume to this, and there's very similar recommended solutions. For myself personally, I work things out myself by progressively just working on harder and harder projects and really wanting to understand how things work. So I just Google lots of stuff. I also followed some basic sort of CS courses, which are available online for free. Like you'd be amazed what's available. I'm also going to add some links to this in the blog post. So that's it. The first tip is like employers care about understanding, not degrees. So focus on getting your understanding, not focusing on getting a degree. Second, I think you need to play to your advantage. So naturally, I think a lot of employers will have their doubts about hiring someone from a non-traditional software or computer science background, and it's really up to you to persuade them to take the chance on you. So you need to be able to talk about what you bring to the table. If you have been self-taught in order to get to this stage, clearly then you are a self-starter, you're motivated, you can learn independently, and these are like really insane advantages over a lot of software engineering grads. You need to be able to express that both in your resume as well as in any interview. Um, and in order like to seriously consider a switch to a career in the tech industry in software engineering, by this stage you've probably already prepared a few projects which you should be able to talk about. And I think if you haven't been in the industry, you'd be very surprised how many recent graduates actually can't code either at all or very well. If you can demonstrate you can do this, you have a good chance. So that's my second tip. It's like play to your advantage. And the third tip, I think, is to take the long-term view. Because even though the demand for a lot of software development roles are very high, so is the competition. And you may not, be in the best city or the country, best location for these roles. So if you're struggling to get that elusive first role for your dream job, see if you can get there in a number of hops by first starting in a related role. So commonly, these roles might look like something in a tech company that look like project management, product management, QA testing, integration support. There's a number of sort of related roles that are not directly on software engineering, but once you're in the company, it's a lot easier to transfer. It's much, much easier to get a role that you want once you've at least established some experience in the tech industry or in the company that you're interested in. So get your foot in the door, then look to transfer after a short period. So that's it. So my three tips for someone looking to switch to a software development role, like somewhat into their career, are one, employers care about understanding, not degrees. So focus on your understanding. Second, play to your advantage. I'm sure you have some. You're probably more mature than a more recent graduate. Talk that up. And third, take the long-term view. If and that's a possibility you don't get the role that you want immediately, consider whether you would take a couple of steps towards that. Good luck.